Back to the Bridgestone Jump podcast. I am your host, Nathan Doyle, and today we've got a very, very special episode for you. As I've mentioned in the podcast before, I like to promote the women's sport, so today's guest makes more than enough sense, and we are delighted to have her. Maggie Doogan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to have you on. Like I mentioned before the podcast, it's a big thing for me to promote the NCAA and would love to get into that. But the first thing we do on these, I know you're a massive fan of the podcast, Maggie, I can tell.
Yeah.
So you obviously know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
For you, what we'll do is we'll cover the basketball journeys of every player. And it's really interesting to see the college players in America and how they got into basketball. So I'd love to know how you got into basketball, and was there any other sports you were delving in before that?
Yeah. So my mom actually coached college basketball when I was growing up. She had me in Ithaca, New York. She was coaching at Cornell University in the Ivy League. And then she came to Philadelphia, which is where she grew up, to coach LaSalle University. So I kind of always grew up in a gym. I would go to their home games and travel on the buses with the team. So I kind of always just loved being around the game in that aspect. But growing up, I played lots of different sports. I played soccer, lacrosse, volleyball, a little bit of softball. And so I was always kind of playing some kind of sport. But as I got older, I really started focusing on basketball, especially during like the COVID kind of season. Obviously, like I'm sure in England, like basketball was kind of at a halt for a little bit. So a lot of it for me was just playing, like one-on-one with my brother and my dad in the driveway and just kind of getting better. And that's kind of where I knew that I wanted to focus on basketball. I was still playing volleyball at the time. So I was kind of like in between like what two I wanted to play in like 7th and 8th grade. But then I knew I wanted to play basketball in the long run.
So that's made me feel really old there, because when you talk about COVID, I was out of university, I was in a job, and that year you've aged us by about 10 years for that one.
Sorry.
No, so for you, you mentioned there was basketball, there was soccer, there was volleyball. Was basketball the sport you went into because you were the best at it, or was it more because that's what you really loved and enjoyed?
It was what I really loved. I was still kind of growing into my body, like 7th and 8th grade. My parents didn't know if I would be, better at volleyball or basketball. But I loved basketball more, and I put a lot more time and effort into that. So it was kind of natural for me to be better at that one eventually.
So like I say, the idea is to promote women's sports, but it's good to get like a woman's journey. For you, you sound like you were really sporty and you had your fingers in like a load of pies. For you, did you experience anything where it was a bit harder to play a sport? Maybe there was people frowning upon it a little bit, or because of your mom being involved in basketball so much, was it kind of really easy for you to get into?
I wouldn't say anybody like frowned upon any sports for me. I think that obviously a lot of my extended family also played basketball. Like I had both of my grandfathers played, one at Villanova University and one at St. Joseph's University, which are both in Philadelphia. And I had an aunt who played college lacrosse, and like I had just had a lot of like extended family who always played different sports. So I kind of everybody like wanted me to play a sport. Like everybody was kind of like supportive of me in that sense. But yeah, there was always kind of a little favoritism towards basketball in my family, just because that's what everybody loved growing up, and we would always watch it, at family dinners and stuff like that. So there's definitely kind of a bias.
This happens a lot, by the way, but I'm going to go off track for a second, because there's a lot of talk of Philadelphia here. So are we a 76ers and an Eagles fan, or is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
I'm exactly the
Phillies,
same.
Eagles, Sixers, yeah.
So what do you think of the Eagles this season? Have you been watching them much?
I have been watching. We've been killing it. It's amazing. I wish I was in Philly to, go to some games, but we're so fun to watch. I'm obsessed.
I'm sick of the Jalen Hurts slander. I'm really sick of it. I just love the guy. He's so cool. Even when we won the game on Sunday, I think the camera panned to him and he was just so cool, so calm.
His reaction was awesome. He's so straight faced and so serious. I love watching him.
And do you think we'll do it? Do you think we're going back to the Super Bowl?
But I would never say no to that. So yes, for sure.
Well, I'm going to put my bets on now because of you. So if I waste some money, this is your fault, Maggie.
No. We can't do that.
So right, like I say, I'll go off track. I'll try and stay on track. When did you realise, obviously you're talking about a hobby and you said you decided basketball is your sport. When for you did that become, well, firstly, is it a career choice? Is that definitely are you aiming for the WNBA? Is that kind of the dream? Or is it still kind of, are you not sure what path you're taking?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously anyone who's playing basketball at this level, if there's any even like a chance of going to the WNBA, I think anybody would strive to get there. So, that's definitely a goal in the back of my mind to I'm obviously focused on my senior season and trying to, win championships for this team that I'm playing on right now. But yeah, it's definitely a goal. I think that, obviously still have to get better at a lot of things and there's definitely a lot of room to grow. But if that's an opportunity that's given to me, like I think I would be crazy not to take it. So I'm definitely working towards that.
Yeah, 100. I mean, I watch you, and it seems like each year, 'cause I didn't see much. I've got to admit, because it's really hard to watch over here at times. Your first
Hmm.
year, I didn't get to see much of you, and then second year, I seen a couple of games. But then last year, it seemed like you kind of got more of a well-rounded game. It seems like you can kind of do a bit of whatever your team needs. Is that what you pride yourself on? Do you feel like whatever your team needs, you'll go out and do, or is it for you, you prioritize a certain area to try and star for your team?
Yeah, I've kind of always grown up like being a team player and, I think it's really important for teams to win games and not for players to win accolades. So for me, I pride myself on trying to get better every season. Like you said, like freshman year to junior year, like I've improved like tremendously, I think. So for me personally, it's just trying to get better every year, but that's also like my team has gotten better every year. So, like, it's not just me, it's the people around me, and when I'm on the floor and I'm trying to, make my teammates better because that's what's gonna help us win in the long run. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, like, I've been getting better, but I think my teammates have been getting better too, and that's also helped me and challenged me to, keep helping my team win and, you know, championships are gonna be so much better than first team all conference and, like, that kinda stuff. Like, I would so much rather have a championship than any other thing.
Yeah, and like you said, the team is improving. You got your first win in the NCAA tournament last year, which is big for your program. Obviously, it had never happened before.
Mhm.
For you, when it came to selecting the program, because obviously they had no history of winning that, what was the process like selecting a college? Did you have
Mhm.
quite a few options? And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, I shouldn't assume the Richmond Spiders, who were fantastic to watch last year, they really had a tremendous year. Was that always the college you were going to go to, or was there several ones where you were kind of in between? And was it something about Richmond that swayed you?
Yeah, so my college process kind of started, like, going into my freshman year of high school. I had a lot of, like, local colleges looking at me, so, like, LaSalle University, St. Joe's University. Those were 2 big ones that started talking to me while, like, really young, and then as I kinda got better throughout my high school career, I had some bigger schools looking at me. I had Pittsburgh, go Pitt, Providence, like, JMU, just, like, a couple other, like, higher goals, I guess you could say. And then obviously I had Richmond, I had a couple other teams in our conference. So there was kind of like a thought of like, oh, should I test out the bigger schools? Like I personally I wanted to play right away. I didn't want to like sit for 2 years and then start playing. I wanted to find a school that I felt like I could fit into the system right away. Not necessarily like start or have like significant playing time, but I wanted to, be challenged, but also like earn my time on the floor right away. I felt like Richmond had the system and the coaching staff to, try and get me there. Obviously, the school is a really good school. I wanted a high academic school, so that definitely played a factor in my decision. The coaches were really great. One of my assistants, Janine Radice, I've known her since I was like 5, so there was already a connection there. She actually recruited my mom in college, so, not
That's
to age
crazy.
her
I can't
that
believe it
crazy,
goes
but
back that far. Yeah.
yeah, 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 like, we had a connection from the start, so that definitely helped. But Coach Roussel is, one of the best in the business, and we get along really well. We have a great relationship now, and even in my recruiting process, like, he was really respectful of me and, allowed me to have some time to make my decision. I probably took too long, even though I knew I wanted to go to Richmond, but I waited too long to, actually tell him that I wanted to come, but he was really respectful of that, and, like, all the other coaches were amazing, and obviously, like, my teammates when I was, choosing a school, I really connected with the girls who were there, and, even though they're gone now, like, I still keep in contact with a bunch of them, so yeah, it's just like the relationships here are unlike any other school that I was at, and I mean, every box was checked when I came and visited Richmond, so it was kind of a no-brainer.
You mentioned that it started before high school, the process. Does that affect the way you play in high school? Do you kind of feel a bit more pressure as you play? Or did you just let it happen and just realize that's what you wanted to do so you would get on with it?
There was a little bit of both. I think I did a good job of blocking out some of the noise while I played, but there were also times when I would play against other competition or like other players who were getting recruited by the same schools that I was, and I would put a lot of pressure on myself to be like, "Oh, you gotta outperform this girl or they're gonna take her over you." Like just like little things like that in my mind that would, kind of add a little weight to my back, which probably wasn't the best for me at the time. But yeah, I mean, it it just happens. But it was it's fine.
Yeah, but
I'm
I bet
okay
it is
now.
hard though because that's like you've
Yeah.
decided at that point that's exactly what you want to do. So naturally, like if you're a competitive person, you want to be the best, don't you? So you're gonna come up against people that you know could be selected ahead of you, and I guess you want to beat them. I guess that's natural.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is. And yeah, like you learn to just like kind of block out the outside noise. I remember like one of the games, like I didn't have one of my best games and I had like some coaches texting me like, like you'll get them next time and just like stuff like that. And that kind of like fueled me like, you're right. Like we will get
I'm
them
gonna
next
get them.
time because like I don't like to lose. So yeah, it was just little things like that that kind of got me going.
No, that's awesome. When you moved from high school, you picked Richmond. It was your rookie year. Again, we've talked about pressure. We've talked about stress, and you said you wanted to go to a university where you were playing straight away. So what was that transition like for you, moving from the high school game into the college game? Did you find it difficult or was it quite an easy transition?
Um, it definitely wasn't easy. I think yeah, I have to credit a lot of this to, like, my former teammates who were here before me because, specifically Addie, like, she took me under her wing right away. I'm sure coach probably talked to her before I got there, but I think she knew that, like, we would be playing probably on the court at the same time in similar positions, so she definitely took a lot of time out of her day to, help me with the offense and make sure that I was doing okay even outside of basketball, so she definitely helped me transition a lot easier than probably I would have without her. But yeah, the coaches we joke about it now, like the coaches are so like not easy on the freshmen because easy is not the right word, but they make sure that like they understand it. And for us, like my class, my senior class, we always joke how they just kind of threw us in right when we got there and was just like, here, go in and figure it out. And um honestly, I think it worked because we have such a good feel for our offense now, but yeah, like, the transition, it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't easy at all because our offense is kind of, like, hard to figure out. It's a lot of reads, and it's a lot of just playing off of what other people do, so if you don't have that team chemistry right away, like, it's gonna be really difficult to, figure out what your teammates are doing, but yeah, for me, freshman year, I had a lot of great teammates who were able to help the transition be not as difficult.
Yeah, like you say there as well, there's the playbook to understand. There's a lot of like team chemistry, getting to know your teammates. What is it like balancing your studies with that? Because obviously, especially you see a lot in the men's game now, the 18-year-old, the one and done, they'll enter the NBA draft really quickly. Obviously, for
Mm,
people that might not know this, it's a bit different in the women's game, isn't it? Have you got to be 22 till you declare? Is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
You believe so?
I'm honestly not sure, but that does sound right. Yeah.
But so is the more emphasis, especially in the women's game, to find a way to balance your studies because just in case something happens, is the more emphasis from your coaches to maybe balance that correctly so you've got a career prolonged after?
Yeah. Well, for me, like my studies, obviously Richmond's like a really good school, so we have like academic advisors and tutors and everybody to try and, help us. I think I do a pretty good job of like motivating myself to do well in school. That's just kind of always how I've been, just to try and do well in school. So that part wasn't that difficult. I try and like pile on my hard classes in the beginning of the semester. So like come basketball season, like it's not as strenuous. But
Right.
as for like the professionals, like I feel like the point of like getting like a degree, I guess, is what the W kind of wants. Like you gotta be 22 to declare. So that would equivalent to like finish a college and like having a degree. I think that was kind of the goal. I also think that the W is so small compared to the NBA that like if people were coming to the WNBA right out of freshman year of college, like, I don't think they have room for that many people, honestly. I also think that, like, women kinda develop later than men do. Like, at least for me, like, freshman year, there's no way people would be like, "Oh, like, yeah, she could go to the WNBA," like, after my freshman year, like, there's no way, like, I was still developing, and, like, I just think that's how, like, our bodies are, like, we're still growing and we're still, getting stronger, getting quicker, like, just, like, stuff like that. I think there's kind of, like, a anatomy aspect to that strategy. I have no idea if any of this is right, but that's just kinda, like, how I have processed it all.
It seems, just keep going with it. It seems right to me. It sounds
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. You're right. So I think that's kind of like where they're coming from in that aspect.
So I was going to ask this later on, but I guess it's kind of came up naturally there. You're on about how the WNBA, the roster side, like obviously there's not as many teams in the league as there is the NBA. Obviously you've got two conferences in the NBA. You've got your two conferences in the W, but obviously a lot smaller and it doesn't really matter. Do
Mhm.
you, especially in your school and you talk with your classmates, does it excite you guys that, say for instance, the Toronto Tempo is joining, Portland's getting a team, Philadelphia? Does that
Mhm.
give you guys more room for optimism in the future that you are going to make these rosters? Does it excite us, or is it kind of something you just don't talk about?
Um, we've talked about it, like, when it was announced last year, I was really excited because Philly was getting a team, so that was, like, my hometown team. I'm really excited for that. We didn't really talk about, like, the expansion like that. Kind of it makes me think about, like, the people playing overseas and in the Euro leagues, like, I wonder if they are getting excited too because there's gonna be more roster spots and, there's optimism there of maybe I'll get pulled up or maybe I'll get drafted or a training camp slot, like, something like that. But, like, for our team, I just think it's like, we think it's, like, a really good thing that women's basketball is continuing to grow, and there's such a popularity around it now, like, everyone's excited to watch the WNBA, like, I think that's really cool because if you looked at the W 5 years ago, like, there weren't a lot of people in the stands, and it's amazing to see how much the sport has grown and how many people are starting to watch the game and respect women and respect the women playing in the WNBA and even college now. Like, our attendance since I've been at Richmond has grown tremendously since my freshman year, and I just think it's great that even small Richmond, Virginia are getting fans, but, the W obviously should be getting fans because they're really, really talented athletes.
Yeah, well, you mentioned overseas players there. I'm from a place called Newcastle, and we have
Mhm,
a women's team called the Newcastle Eagles. And there was a woman last year who played, and it was ridiculous. She came to the league, and obviously, naturally, here you kind of, because a lot of people can't watch the NCAA, so she come
mhm,
over. She was called Jada Gwynn, um, and she was from D2. And honestly, what a talent! But that's kind of like what
really.
you're now. She's playing in Iceland, but it's kind of what you're saying because these girls must get so excited now because with the league expanding, it gives them more opportunity to grow. Like they obviously didn't get drafted, but
Right,
the amount of talent we see overseas, especially it's more like the Eastern European countries now. I think
mhm,
the WNBA, personally, I can't wait to see it grow because there is that league now, like the playoffs at the minute. I don't know if you've been watching them, but they're
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
I'd love to know what you think about the Caitlin Clark situation as well. I mean, I wasn't going to bring
mhm,
this up again, but I will ramble. You're talking about how more people are watching women's sports. And obviously, naturally, there is a part of Caitlin Clark that's played in that. But what do you feel about people saying it's solely on her? Because I watch games like the New York Liberty, you watch the Golden State
mhm.
Valkyries, their expansion. Obviously, there's so many people in the stands there, and Caitlin Clark hasn't been playing most of the year. So, do you believe it is mostly on her, or do you just think the league's getting better and it's growing, and it's just because of these hard-working women like Aja Wilson, who's just won the
Mhm.
MVP? Do you think they
So
deserve
good.
more respect?
Okay, I need to word this correctly because I don't want it to seem like it's all Caitlin Clark because it's not. I think Caitlin is a big reason for why the league has grown. I think that she's a phenomenal player. I remember I have had, like, teammates of mine who have played her in college, and they were just like, the amount of people who come to watch her play was unbelievable. So I do think she is a big reason for why the league has so much attention now. I think that also, it's not just her. I think honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with social media and how many people are on social media. I think TikTok has kind of blown up a lot of the players, like, in their personal lives. So, like, Angel Reese, like, obviously she's a great basketball player. I think she also has a huge following on TikTok and social media. Caitlin Clark probably not so much, but people know Angel Reese because of her basketball skills and also because they see her face on like cereal boxes. So I think it's stuff like that that also kind of play a part in why all these people are getting so much attention now. I think for, like you said, the New York Liberty, like Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, like Tasha Cloud went to my high school. So like I grew up watching her and knowing who she was. But I also think like kind of the older players, they didn't have that big of a presence on social media. So like they're just, people know them because of the younger players.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, I
I
got
don't
into it
like I
because
don't
of,
want to like make it seem like, oh, they're only known because they're all on social media. Like, no, obviously they're tremendous basketball players and they're phenomenal at what they do. I think that because like the younger girls are bringing so much attention to the league, people are also realizing like, oh, like Angel or Asia Wilson is a 4-time MVP. Brianna Stewart won 4 national championships at UConn. Like, if you didn't watch college basketball then, like you probably know it now because she's killing it in the WNBA. Like Sabrina Ionescu, one of the best shooters in the league. Like, it's just like little things like that that have like built on top of each other to kind of popularize the league
no,
now.
I
I don't know
think
if I
what you're
said that
saying
right.
is
I don't.
valid. Yeah, 100. Like,
Yeah.
for me, it wasn't specifically Caitlin Clark. It was the rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on TikTok, like you said.
Hmm.
And then I tuned in the next week to like watch their game, and it hooked us straight away. And like you said, it might not be specifically Caitlin Clark, but there is something
Hmm.
about TikTok. You don't know what would have happened without social media, but I
Right.
think your answer's 100% correct. I know it's hard to word it without sounding
Thanks.
like you put it
Yeah,
all on person.
I didn't want to like put anybody down because obviously you're in the league for a reason. Like you're a great basketball player. I just think yeah, like the younger generation has blown up the league for what it is because of social media.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get back to you because you're the one we want to make the W. We want you to get there one day. So we'll talk about you and your. I looked up your stats before because I watched you play. I watched you against UCLA, which we'll get to later. I know you lost that game, but you obviously
Yeah.
individually had a great game. 17 points, 7.1 rebounds, and by the 55.5% from field goal percentage is ridiculous, by the way. And then 40% 3 points. Like, that is such good statistics. How much emphasis do you put on your game to be so balanced and be able to contribute from every angle?
Whatever my team needs, honestly. I think our offense, once you figure it out, it's hard to not succeed in it. You're constantly moving, you're constantly coming off screens, you're constantly setting screens, you're constantly reading screens, you're seeing what your teammates are doing. So, like for me, I get a lot of open shots because I have so many other threats on my team. Like you look at Rachel Olstrom, she's my roommate, one of my best friends. Like we read each other so well on the court, and it's hard for teams to guard both of us because we're both such good threats. Like if I screen Rachel and both people go to her, like then I'm wide open. Like it's stuff like that. So I think I get a lot of my points from my teammates being able to read my cuts, like my teammates obviously being good, but I mean I think it's just basketball. Like it's I'm good because I'm surrounded by good players and they make me better and I make them better. So it's really just a team dynamic. Like that's just how I've gotten to be good. I'm surrounded by good players. They make me want to be better.
Well, that was going to be my next question. You mentioned Rachel there. I think you've already mentioned Adi Budnik. Do
Hmm.
you believe if you were on a different team, you could have the same points as what you do, or do you really believe that this is the system that's made you develop so much is because of your coaches, because of your teammates like Rachel and Adi? Do you think,
Hmm.
say, for instance, if you chose one of these other teams where maybe you're not featuring as heavy on the offense, do you think you would have thrived as much, or do you just put it down to your teammates?
Like I think I don't want to sound bad when saying this. I think I would have been okay at other places. I think I still would have had a good college career, but so much of what I've been able to do is because of the people that I've been surrounded with. So like I could have gone to another team and been the best player, but if I didn't have four other people with me on the court, I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am today. So yeah, I would credit it to who's on the court with me, my teammates.
Well, whatever you have done of work, like we said before, 74-49 blowout win against Georgia Tech. That was the first in
Mhm.
program history. At the time, did you have time to take in that victory and what you had done? Because obviously you're still in the tournament, you've still got a competition. How proud at the time were you of that achievement? Or did you not get time to
Yeah,
celebrate it?
I don't think I had the time to fully process what had just happened. We were coming off of a bad loss in our conference tournament. So the last game we had played, we lost on a buzzer beater, and we had like close to 2 weeks of just practicing and kind of dwelling on that. So I think for at least for me and like my teammates, we were just excited to play somebody new and get a new chance to do something special for the program. When we got selected, we got the 8 seed in our bracket. So I think that was probably one of the highest seeds that Richmond has ever gotten in the tournament. That was just crazy to think about going against Georgia Tech. Obviously, they're an ACC school. They're really good. And honestly, I just think we had the fight and the will to just go out there and leave it all on the floor because a lot of our team last year were seniors. Like we had 6 seniors, I think. So it was their last possibly their last game ever playing in college, and I know they didn't wanna lose. We put a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of scout just to, nitpicked every play that they had. We were locked in for that game, and obviously it showed when we played. It was just an unbelievable team performance, and it was so much fun too. It was awesome.
What does your coach say after a win like that? Does he let you celebrate? Or did he?
Yeah, no, we celebrated. He came in all excited in the locker room. We doused him in water and put our name on the bracket, and yeah. I mean, we definitely had the night to, like, soak in the win, but then the next day it was, "Alright, you got the best team in the country coming up next, like, lock it in."
Yeah, that's
Um
my next question as well. UCLA, obviously, this year, I mean, between them and maybe South Carolina this year, and obviously Richmond, we'll put yous up there, why not? UCLA and South Carolina, they are big teams. For you, when you knew you were playing them and you knew, obviously, Lauren Betts is one of the best, if not the best player in the country at the minute. She's down as going projected first in the draft
Mhm.
already somehow. I know that the
Yeah.
league's not even been played yet. What is it
Mhm.
like being on the court against someone who gets so much attention like Lauren Betts? Is that something for you where you in your head, you say, I am going to be better than her on the day? Or do you ignore that and kind of do your own thing and let everything else happen?
Yeah. Honestly, I lined up to do the jump against her, and I'm surrounded by like, our locker rooms with our men's team are, like, right next to each other. So I'm standing next to, like, 6'8", 6'10" guys, like, every day in the training room, and then I go up and jump against her, and I'm like it just blew me away, like, her size and her athleticism was just unbelievable. So, you can't really forget that she's on the court, like, you have to have like, an idea of where she is, even offense, especially on defense, but obviously, like, on offense too. So, no, you can't really forget about her, but we we had a game plan. We tried to stick to our game plan, and which was Lauren Betts is gonna get hers, but we gotta find everybody else and limit what they get. I think we did a good job of that in the first half and the fourth quarter. The third quarter, when everybody else starts hitting threes and Lauren Betts is getting whatever she wants in the paint, that's kind of when they kill you. So that was our downfall, but honestly, like, it was just an unbelievable game, an unbelievable atmosphere to be in. And Pauley Pavilion is just a historic venue, and they filled the stands. Their fans were loud, and as they should be, but they were loud. The gym was packed, and it was an unbelievable experience. Even though we lost, it was, like, very, very memorable. I won't forget that.
Yeah, it's a good experience, and but you obviously the loss will hurt. But for you
Mhm.
individually, 24 points and again 7 assists, so that's something else you're bringing on. You're showing you'll do whatever your team needs. Individually, when you step back from that game after the loss, were you proud of your performance? Is that something you do pride yourself on? Or does it hurt too much that your team lost? Well, you and your team, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the loss definitely stings. I don't think many people were expecting us to win, so when we were tied at halftime, there was kind of like a little bit of pride, like, "Yeah, we're here, and, like, you should know who Richmond is now," and I hope that my performance kind of helped us put Richmond on the map a little bit. Obviously, like, with those 2 games, Georgia Tech and UCLA, I think that helped put my name out there, and hopefully people will tune into Richmond this year and watch us more because I think we're gonna be really good this year again. But yeah, I mean, I try not to think about my own performance as much as the team losing because that was the last time that I will ever play with Addie Budnick and Katie Hill and Faith and Allie and Stat, like all the seniors who were here. Like that's the last time I'll ever be on the court with them, and they're some of my closest friends. So I'll never take for granted what they have done for me and being able to share the court with them. So obviously that's something that I will miss. But yeah, I don't really try and think about my own performance as much as the experience as a whole.
Yeah, well, we'll mention the roster changes in a second because obviously it's going to be a big year for you guys in terms of changes. But there's what staying on kind of not Lauren Betts as such, but a player who's physical, and obviously yourself physical. There's always like I heard it before I started watching the women's game, and then I watched it, and it's the most ridiculous take I've ever heard. People saying it's not physical and it's not fast. For you personally, can you tell people playing against someone like Lauren Betts, even playing like someone against yourself, how wrong are people when they say stupid stuff like that?
You try it. You try guarding 6'7" Lauren Betts. Go for it.
Five foot
That's what
five,
I
so I
would
would
say.
cry.
I mean, honestly, you try it. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone says it's not physical. You try it
Well, I was listening to a
and you see for
podcast
yourself.
before the season started, and I think it was Natasha Cloud that was on it, and she was saying, I can't remember what podcast it was, and she was like, it is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. People are saying it's not physical. I've come off the court, scratches, I'm bleeding, like just showing you
Yeah.
your arm, and then you watch the game, and when they're saying it's not very quick, oh, who's the Dallas guard who went this year alongside Beckers? It's going to drive us nuts.
Nika? No, Arike Ogumawale?
No,
Is
she's
she
a
still
rookie
on?
this year. She was playing really well. It was her and she came on for the. That's going to drive us nuts now. I'm going to have a look. But I was watching that game and she is so quick. And for anyone that says she's not quick, it's just you can tell that people aren't watching the game. Does that frustrate you when people come up with them kind of stigmas?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time it's people who haven't played basketball before or they haven't played the college
Yeah,
level. So, I mean, I don't really take a lot of that seriously because you haven't experienced that. So,
exactly.
it doesn't
JJ
really
Quinley,
it doesn't
that's the
really
name.
bother me. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I know who you're talking
That
about.
was going to drive us nuts. I'd have a look.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you actually watch the games, if you sit down and watch it, like JJ Quinley, I used to watch her run end to end and she'd be there in 5 seconds. So for someone like me who's 5'5", I mean, I'm 12 stone, so I don't run very fast. I mean, so I've got nothing like that. To then say that about the women's game when, like you say, the people who are saying it are sat on their sofas, probably has never played a game of basketball in their life. It just blows me mind. I can't get my head around it.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to worry about those comments too much because
No, definitely not.
they don't mean anything. Yeah.
So back to positives, a new season, new opportunities for yourselves. But you've said you've had your first practice today. How is it seeing a lot of new faces? What is the feel around Richmond at the moment?
It's new. We have a lot of young faces. We have 2 grad transfers and then 4 freshmen. So definitely young. So we have 4 freshmen and 3 sophomores. So very young. We are trying to get everybody on the same page at this point, trying to figure out the offense, figure out the defense. We're not as big as we were last year, so really trying to, use our length and talking. Talking is a big one right now that we're trying to, get the freshmen out of their shell and get them to understand that if you're not like talking is one of the biggest things in our offense. If we got to know where everybody is at every time. So yeah, I'm really excited for this year. I think we're going to be really good, if not better. But I obviously every team in America can tell you right now that everybody has things that they need to work on, and we obviously have things that we need to work on, but I also see a really big upside for us this year, so I'm really excited.
So what is the role for you this year? Obviously, the veteran presences have left, if you want to call them veterans when you're so young. For you, what role did you have to take this year? Does it alter slightly since, like you said, there's a lot of younger faces coming in and obviously smaller players as well? Does your role change on the team at all?
I don't really think it changes. I think I have to figure out how to, get to, like, get the freshmen to, kinda get situated and comfortable in the offense and just the system as a whole. I think I need to figure out how they work and what motivates them and, like, what little things get them going. Still trying to figure, like, stuff like that out, but I don't really think my role changes. I think that I'm gonna be the same player, hopefully a better version of that same player, but, um, yeah, I don't really see my role changing other than helping everybody win. It's just winning.
So is that is probably the next question. What is the aim for the year? What does success look like for Richmond? Obviously, first program win last year. How do you build upon that? What is the aim for success?
Yeah. We had a talk at the end of our summer session this year of like, yeah, people are gonna expect us to, maybe be preseason ranked in on the country and are gonna expect all this stuff, but just because we have Richmond across our chest doesn't mean that anything's gonna be handed to us. Like, everybody's gonna be hunting for us. Everybody's gonna wanna beat us because of what we've done in the past, so we have to take that. Pressure is a privilege, we always say, so we have to just kind of take everything one game at a time, one practice at a time, one possession at a time, and get better constantly. But honestly, success to me is winning. I want an A10 championship. I want to, win two in the tournament next year. I want to get to the Sweet 16. I want to win as much as possible. And I mean, obviously, I've already gotten the taste of an A10 championship my sophomore year. I've gotten a taste of a March Madness win last year, and I want that for our younger girls. It's an unbelievable feeling and something that bonds you for life with your teammates and your coaches, and it's unbelievable. And I really want everybody else to get to experience that too.
No, that's great. That's getting us excited for the season now, hearing that talk, because obviously at the minute we've got the WNBA playoffs, but then we'll kind of lose basketball for a little bit because it's the start of the NBA season, but that goes on so long.
Yeah.
Honestly can't wait for the NCAA to start now. When is
Me
your
too.
first game?
Our first game is November 4th.
November 4th. So everyone write that down because we will be supporting
November
Richmond this
4th.
year. That's
Yep.
So that's basically it, Maggie. That's all the hard questions anyway, but I do want to throw one last one at you. So
Okay.
we're going to have Maggie's NC starting five. To keep this simple for you, I can't let you pick Richmond players, but I wouldn't want you upsetting any Richmond players.
Yeah.
So I don't want
Okay.
you to do that. So who was the best starting five in the country? If you want to put yourself in there, I'll back it, but there's no Richmond players are allowed. I'm sorry.
Okay. So this can be from like all different teams.
Any team you want to pick.
Okay. Oh goodness. Oh, like a team starting five
Yeah.
or
So
like
you just
different.
build
Okay.
make your own starting five.
I'll make my own starting five. Okay, perfect. I think I would put. mm, I think I would put as my point guard probably. I'm gonna forget so many players, so I'm gonna feel bad. But my point guard, I would probably go. I think I would go Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think she would be my point guard. I would have an AZ Fudd at my two guard. Uh, Paige can be the three too. Paige Becker's at the three. Um, I would have Sarah Strong from UConn at the
Yes.
four and five.
So you've gone, by the way, this is a tremendous team. Hidalgo, Fudd, Beckers, Sarah Strong, Lauren Betts, which is actually really close to mine because I thought I'd compare. And naturally, Maggie, I put you in because I've got to say thank you for coming
Thanks.
on. So I've gone Olivia Miles in point guard. Azzy Fudd.
She was the other one I was going to pick.
It was really
between
hard. I actually
Hidalgo
forgot about
and
Hidalgo, to be
Miles.
fair, but I think I'd still go. Because I thought Miles would go in the draft this year, so I was kind of surprised when she didn't. But Olivia Miles,
Yeah.
Fudd, Maggie, of course, Sarah Strong, and Lauren Betts. So we were really close there, I think.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yes, there we go. We must have some kind of knowledge there somehow.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, no, that is it, Maggie. You were off the hook. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully, like I've said, everyone who's listening to the podcast, this will be the first of a few NCAA students, and I thank you very much, Maggie, for being the first.
Of course. I'm honored.
Remember, guys, rate the podcast well, share it if you can, because we want to get as many listeners and we want to promote the women's game as much as we can. So thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you, Maggie, again.
Thank you.